at the end of all, we have to collectively make a project, right? So that is the whole idea, and the whole point of this complete program is to get you ready with cloud, because see, cloud is everywhere. I mean, you use it every day, and you're aspiring software engineers, so there's a very good chance that you'll be working on cloud. So it's better to have a hands-on experience with it. And yeah, I mean, Google will be helping you to learn that thing. So with the broader part, I guess. Okay, and by the way, how many of you have ever used any cloud, like be it Google Cloud or any other service, cloud service provider? How many of you ever used it? To just know about that. Oh, AWS for hosting, that's cool. So the thing is, and the good part about cloud is that you learn the concept, and it's probably there with every provider, be it Google, be it like other companies. It's everywhere the same concept. All you need to know is like what is that component is doing. Like for example, a Kubernetes thing or a load balancer. I'm gonna tell you more about that like in the session and in the future sessions. But the good part is that you just have to learn once. It's not about like your programming languages or things that framework that changes. It just remains constant. That's cool. A lot of people have already worked on cloud. That's really cool. Hmm. So we will be starting like maybe in 5 more minutes maximum. Just call out all of your friends, and then we'll start with the session. And just to confirm, just text that how many of you have already used your code and got the subscription for the Skill Boost account? That's cool, Hirsch. No one other? Sweet fast, Devansh. Ah, that's cool, Manav. Sorry, I was just asking, have you got your like monthly subscription on the Cloud Skill Boost account from the mail that you received? Are any of your friends still remaining to join?
I guess we can start the session now and let's see who, like, if somebody is left, they'll join later.
Yeah, sure. I guess it's quarter time. So, uh, okay, let's just share my screen. Sorry for the glitch. My network has to just go right now. Anyways, yeah, let me just share the screen. And we have a special announcement at the end of the session, so just hold on for that as well. Okay, maybe can you confirm if it's visible?
Yeah, it's visible. You
Okay,
can
cool.
go on.
Cool. So, welcome to GCCP, which is Google Cloud Career Practitioner Program, and I'm Gauransh. I'll be your facilitator for this year. And frankly, I'm not a very presentation guy, so this will be a quick presentation just to let you know some small things. So whenever we talk about any topic, we just ask that what it is. For example, we talk about cloud, then the very first question that comes to our mind is, what is cloud, right? And before I go ahead, I would really love to know if anyone of you have any idea about what cloud is actually. Anyone? Let's make it a bit interactive. Well, in case you don't know, here is. Oh, Dipan has something to hear. Perfect. That's a nice idea, but
पूरा जो टेक्नोलॉजिकल सिस्टम है वो क्लाउड सीडिंग पर आ गया है। आपको पता है, आपको कोई सॉफ्टवेयर की जरूरत, अगर आप गूगल इस्तेमाल करते हैं मनीष जी, तो आप देखिए कि गूगल में आप अपने सारे डॉक्यूमेंट्स जो हैं आप सिर्फ कंप्यूटर पे रिकॉर्ड हो जाते हैं। अच्छा, गूगल का जो पूरा सॉफ्टवेयर है, आपने कभी गूगल की सॉफ्टवेयर सीडी दिखी है कभी बिकते हुए? नहीं है, वो सारी क्लाउड के अंदर है। क्लाउड सीडिंग बोलते हैं इसको। तो अब जो नया युग आ रहा है उसके अंदर आपको सिर्फ एक कंप्यूटर के अलावा, जहां पर आप उसको कनेक्ट कर सकते हैं क्लाउड से, उससे आप सारा सॉफ्टवेयर और आपके सारे डॉक्यूमेंट्स आ जाएंगे। अभी तक ये स्टडी नहीं हो पाई है मनीष जी कि क्या बारिश के समय, क्या जब अंधड़ आता है, क्या इसके अंदर एबरेशन आ सकती हैं? अब एबरेशन, मान लीजिए आपने ये यूनिक आइडेंटिटी कार्ड बना दिया एक गरीब का, बेचारे का, उसका कभी टेस्ट नहीं हुआ बार बार जी, उसने उस समय दे दिया। अब क्योंकि ये जो यूनिक आइडेंटिटी कार्ड बनाएंगे ये उससे नहीं बनाएंगे, क्योंकि आपको जाना पड़ेगा जंगलों के अंदर 100 मील दूर जाके। वहां पर आपने जब बनाया तो उस समय क्लाउड ठीक था, या आपने जो क्लाउड सीड किया था, इसका एक पर्टिकुलर क्लाउड सीडिंग होती है, जो एक क्लाउड सीड किया जाता है ऊपर, वो क्लाउड की एक सिचुएशन थी उस क्लाइमेट में। आपने जब उसको चेकिंग करना शुरू किया, पूरा जो टेक्नोलॉजिकल सिस्टम है वो क्लाउड और आपके सारे डॉक्यूमेंट्स आ जाएंगे। अभी तक ये स्टडी नहीं हो पाई है मनीष जी कि क्या बारिश के समय, क्या जब अंधड़ आता है, क्या इसके अंदर एबरेशन आ सकती हैं। अब एबरेशन, मान लीजिए आपने ये यूनिक आइडेंटिटी कार्ड बना दिया एक गरीब का, बेचारे का, उसका कभी टेस्ट नहीं हुआ, बार बार जी उसने उस समय दे दिया। अब क्योंकि ये जो यूनिक आइडेंटिटी कार्ड बनाएंगे ये उससे नहीं बनाएंगे, क्योंकि आपको जाना पड़ेगा जंगलों के अंदर 100 मील दूर जाके। वहां पर आपने जब बनाया तो उस समय क्लाउड ठीक था, या आपने जो क्लाउड सीड किया था, इसका एक पर्टिकुलर क्लाउड सीडिंग होती है, जो एक क्लाउड सीड किया जाता है ऊपर, वो क्लाउड की एक सिचुएशन थी उस क्लाइमेट में। आपने जब उसको चेकिंग करना शुरू किया तो जहां पे चेक किया वहां पे क्लाउड, उस समय बारिश हो रही थी, वो फॉल्ट दे रहा है, वो कहता है ये तो आदमी वो नहीं है जिस जो अपना ये दे रहा है, आपने उसको गिरफ्तार कर लिया। अगर मान लीजिए 3% लोग भी गिरफ्तार होना शुरू हो जाते हैं, या 2% भी होना शुरू हो जाते हैं, या 1% भी होना शुरू हो जाता है, आपने तो गिरफ्तार करके उसको रात को बंद कर दिया जेल के अंदर, तो आप क्या इसमें, इसकी क्या एफिकेसी है?
Well, I hope you know that this is not the cloud, right? It's not on the cloud that this guy is talking about. So this was a video of 2 decades ago, and I really want that the folks today have this awareness that yeah, this is not the cloud. Um, so actually, cloud is based on
पूरा जो
the
टेक्नोलॉजिकल सिस्टम है वो क्लाउड सीडिंग पर आ गया है आपको।
these 5 fundamental characteristics. The first one is that it is on demand, which basically means that you don't have to buy any of the things like CPU, RAM. You just put on a web platform and it's there for you. The next is broad network access, which basically means that you can use it from anywhere on the world if you have an internet connection. That's all you need to access your computers, your any computational power that you need. Third big major reason is that it allows resource pooling, which basically means that the same resource can be allocated to multiple users multiple times. So it's not necessary that if you buy a CPU, it's only for you. It can be shared among further more people. Rapid elasticity, which is like scaling. So let's assume that you're running an application and a lot of users come to your like website pretty frequently. With cloud, you can just scale it like with a fraction of seconds or sometimes automatically. And the third and the best part is that you only pay for what you use. So if you buy a computer, you pay it once and it's all yours. Even if you're not using it, it's yours. But in the cloud, you're just paying for what you're using. So these are the 5 fundamental characteristics of cloud, and the cloud is certainly not that you're seeing in the sky. So yeah, that's a brief about cloud. Next is some of the major three terms that we always hear around. That is IaaS versus PaaS versus SaaS, like as PaaS, SaaS, whatever it is. And so IaaS is like infrastructure as a service, which is, as its name suggests, it's like you're using the CPU, the memory, and the storage, basically a virtual machine directly. You're not using anything else. You're just using the infrastructure. You're choosing your own operating system and whatnot. So that is your infrastructure as a service. For Google, Google provides Google Compute, which is like creating the very basic virtual machines. We'll see that live in the demo. Next, we have is a platform as a service, which is basically you don't have to worry about the infrastructure. You'll be given a fully managed platform. All you have to do is just give your code to it, and it will run for you. A simple example to this is Google Cloud Run, which is basically just give it a Docker container, and it will run everything for you without managing your CPU, the memory. And the best part is that it can automatically scale, so you don't have to even worry about huge network traffics and things. And the the software as a service, as name says, you only need to put the data, the software, the platform, the infrastructure, everything is managed for you. An example for this is Google BigQuery. Google BigQuery is a service that allows you to handle a lot of big data and get some good insights out of it. And all you need to do is just put the data. That's it. Nothing more, nothing on the software side. You just put the data and use the software. That's it. So this is the three major characteristics, like the service provided by most of the cloud providers, including Google Cloud. And next we have is what we are going to do. Like, let's come to the business. So this will be our track, which is cloud engineering track, and we have 6 different modules to do. We'll be starting with this, of course, the first one, which is getting started creating and managing your Google Cloud resources, and then in the further sessions, we'll be moving forward with all of these modules. And your task for this week is just finish this module, this quest. This has 6 labs, and I'll be helping you with 1 to 2 labs depending on the time available. But just finish this, and maybe if you want, you can just go ahead and explore more on your own as well. But I'll be helping you in the next sessions. And yeah, thank you for this PPT, and we'll be going forward to the labs. In the meantime, if you have some questions. Any questions if you have so far about the program or whatever?
Like I had a question. You talked about the project that we'll be building after completing the lab. So can you
Yeah,
just tell
so
me like how will we
you
work?
have been given an access for a month. You can use it. You can just run the lab anytime. It's not dependent on the week, but we have the week planning phase because we have to cover a lot of things. So we have like that timely manner. But it's up to you as if you want. As a service, yes, it does comes into it, but I mean, you can consider it as a platform like PaaS, because like for example, if we talk about Firebase, which is a backend as a service, it is essentially giving you like a combination of platform as a service, which is like your infrastructure, and the software, which is the Firebase itself. But it's not completely a software, and that's why it's called it a backend as a service. But generally, we have just 3 categories. Well, Sanjay, if
Korika,
you have time, please do. I mean, explore as much as you want. You got some free credit, so why not?
Korika, after receiving the WhatsApp group link, you
Oh,
have to
okay.
enroll for the program that was shared in the group. So, like, if you haven't, then you won't be getting the code. And I guess the form is closed now.
Korika,
So,
have you filled the form that is given to you in the mail, like the with the skill boost account
in
and
the
things?
WhatsApp group,
And
yeah.
if you did, then you probably received the mail. Just check your spam folder if you have filled everything correctly. So just check your spam folders, and if it's not there, then unfortunately we cannot help. But I mean, I'm pretty sure that it's there in the spam folder because one other guy has texted me about that same thing. Cool. Okay, so let's come to the good part, which is actually getting our hands dirty with the code, right? I hope you're excited for that as well. So this will be the cloud engineering learning path that we have to follow along, like in the whole 1 month span. And we'll be starting with this, the create and manage cloud resources quest, which is quest number 120 here. I'll be sharing all the links to you later, but for now, like, yeah, this is what we're gonna do. And I hope this lab is being completed by all of you because this is the necessary lab to get you the 1 month credit pass. If you got it correctly, it should be there, something like this. So you can see that first we got the 9 credits, and then we got the 1 month subscription added on our IDs. So far, it's good, right? I'm gonna proceed. Well, I cannot understand your question, Devansh, but for now we have like a shortened time, so we'll be first starting with the labs. And as this lab is like the basics of the Google Cloud Hands-on lab, so we're starting with creating a virtual machine. And if you're on Windows, you can even do this lab, but I'm on Linux and I really want to do this, so yeah. Also, just to mention, there are 2 labs, right? In one, there is this OR, and there are 2 labs. Have to only do one. You're not required to do both of them unless you want to, but it's not necessary. You just have to perform any of the one here. Only where the OR is mentioned. Otherwise, you have to perform all of them to complete the quest. So this is the lab, and see, the good part about this lab is that everything is pretty much self-explanatory, and all you have to do is just give it a good read, and you'll be able to do it like pretty easily. Um, this is the start lab, and here is of course a video as well to help you get through this. I mean, this is the basic part if you want to give it a read, but we can skip that for now. Let's go to the task one. Start. So we have to create a compute engine VM instance, and these will be the values for the instance. So this is the name of the instance, the region, the zone, and the type of the machine that we want to, everything basically which we need to put that in the VM. So let's just open this thing. I always prefer to do it on a virtual, like a private window, because otherwise it's kind of conflict with your login accounts and it might get messy. So it's better to do it on an incognito window. Here we have the username, password. So this is the GCP, which is Google Cloud Console. How it looks like. In the left side, you'll have all of your products and things. Here's your cloud shell if you want to. But all we have to do is we have to create a virtual machine. And here are the navigation menu. Go to compute engine and VM instance. Sorry for the interruption. And then create a new instance. Cool. So this is the part where we need to configure everything. We can refer to this thing. So the name that we want is GCE Lab. Just better this copy. Gets changed, then gonna mark you well. So just make sure the names and regions are there. The region is US East 1 and the zone is US East 1C. So we have to see US East 1, and yeah, that's the default region that they have chosen. And this is an E2 medium, right, with two virtual CPUs, 4 GB of RAM. And yeah, so this is an E2 medium by default. So far, so good. Next, we want is the 10 GB disk with Debian Linux, and we want to allow HTTP traffic on a virtual machine. So this is the boot disk, which basically you can change here, but by default is Debian 11 on a 10 GB size. But if you really want to change, you can change it from here. Like you can use CentOS, Fedora, Ubuntu, whatever you want to. But for now, it's good for us, so let's keep it that way. And yeah, we want to allow the HTTP traffic. That's the firewall that we want to allow. And here we can actually do the thing in two ways. First, click on create and it will create automatically for us. Or what we can do is like you can just click this button, and this is the command line equivalent for it. Just copy to clipboard, and here is the Google Cloud Shell, which gives you access to a terminal on your Google Cloud, and you can actually create all of your instances from here as well. I mean, this is just to give you a brief about it, how it looks like this. So this is how the Google Cloud Shell looks like, right? And literally, you can just paste the whole command, and it's gonna create everything from command line as well. So it's your choice, but for the session, they're just doing it on like with the GUI. So we're gonna create it this way. I mean, this is here just to let you know that yeah, this also exists. So basically, anything that you can do on the web with the web GUI, it can be done with the CLI as well. And now we just so it's done. That's good part. I mean, to connect to the SSH, just press this button, and it's gonna open a window for you to just get connected to when the instance that you just created. By the time we can see so the task two is to we have to install an Nginx web server, and we have exposed the HTTP traffic, so it's gonna run. So, okay, cool. So this is the Debian instance. All we have to first update. This is gonna update all of the lab, and then we're gonna install the Nginx. It's just confirming. If you want to skip that confirmation check, just put a dash y flag, as mentioned here. I mean, you can just put it that way as well. It's fine. It's the same thing. And we can just see that if the Nginx is running. Perfect. So it seems that it's running. We can just see the ps command, which is used to let you know the processes that are running. And we can actually check through this external IP that we got here. So if we click this, see, here we go. Here the Nginx is running, right? Welcome to Nginx. Um, After that, all you have to do is to just let me first check the progress. Of course, you need to do this to check and like let them know that you've done the things that it's mentioning. So it says that it's completed. Now create a new instance with gcloud shell. Okay, perfect. So they want us to create another machine with the gcloud. Here, just come to this cloud shell, and paste this command. So basically, what this command is meaning, I'm just gonna let you elaborate what this is doing. gcloud is the CLI for doing everything on the Google Cloud, and then we want to create a compute instance with like compute instance create. The name of the instance that we want is GC Lab 2. This is the name, and then this is the machine type which we want is E2 medium, which is similar to what we chose on the UI part here. And the zone that we want to choose is US East 1C, which is again the same. I mean, here are all the same things, just the name is changed. And if we hit enter, what's it to authorize that? Cool. So we got all of the things, the name, the zone, and this is the external IP address that we have. We can even refresh it here to just get a view on the UI as well. So you can see that GC Lab 2 is also running, and this is created by the CLI. Let's check the progress. Perfect. I mean, if you want to just execute these commands to just see and what all the options are available in the create command and things like that. For now, I'm just skipping because that's it. That's all we have to do in the lab, and just to test your knowledge, through which of the following ways you can create a VM instance in Cloud Compute Engine. I mean, up to you guys. I'll just answer this. Can we do it the both ways or the one? Anyone want to answer? Oh, I guess it's not too boring and you're not slept so far. Both ways. Yeah, so I mean, as I show you, we can do it the both ways with the CG Cloud CLI and the console itself. So do this and submit. Perfect. You're done with the quest. So you can see your score is 100%, and then you can just end your lab from here. Boom, you just give them some reviews and you're good to go. And if we go back and check, we can see that two of our labs are done. And we don't need to do this because it's an all lab. We can just move forward to the next lab that we have. But before going to that, yeah, any of your questions and things? So Ishar, yes, we can connect to the SSH terminal from our own like local system. All you have to do is just put the SSH keys that are there, and you can actually connect it from there. You can definitely connect to SSH. It's just SSH. Um, so we have like 6 modules, basically 6 quests, and this is the first one that we need to do, which is just this quest 120. Um, the first one should all done, and this is just that I did. I mean, I hope you also did it like follow along, or you want to do it later. And next is that if you want to get started with the Google Cloud Shell and G Cloud. So that's up to you. If you guys want to see another demo, I can just do that, or if you have any doubts, you can just put it onto me. I can demo you if you want to, or if you want to do it on your own, then that's totally fine. Yeah, anyone? Okay, just to give you a boost, I guess all of you are just feeling down and feeling a bit bored. Um, we have to finish it all together. Like we have to complete that end project, and we have to complete all those modules. And if we do it collectively, we're gonna get some good swags all together. So if you are here for swags, why not? I mean, you're gonna get some rewards for sure if you're doing it. But the best part is that you can learn the GCP, and you will be much more ahead than of your peers. So, yeah. Anyone? Sorry, I didn't get their fourth quest. I mean, this is the only quest that you have to do now, and after that, we can, I mean, go to path and just look for cloud engineer learning path. And here we have to do this create and manage resources, the first quest. We'll let you know the further quest that you have to do via mail or via the WhatsApp group that we have. But for now, you have to finish this. Okay, so I don't know if you're already slept or what, but let's. I'm really a fan of Kubernetes, and I just love Kubernetes. Gonna do a Kubernetes lab as well. I hope you can follow along while you're awake. That's good. So, I mean, I leave this on to you because this is more about the Cloud Shell and the G Cloud. I mean, I think that it can be doable by you. So, I mean, using the G Cloud to manage all of your resources and things. What I'm more interested in, inclined towards is Kubernetes, and let's do this lab. This is a 30 minutes lab, so yeah. So we have to set a default computer. Start the lab. Okay, cool. So this is the new lab that we just got, and the password. What we have to do is like we will just see the setup and requirements remains pretty much the same that we had previously. So if you want to take a look at it, why not? But I'll be moving towards the task. And the first task is to set a default compute zone, which you can just do it with the gcloud, just gcloud config set compute region and your central one. The region in the zone. So we'll be setting the region first, which is US Central 1, and then the zone to US Central 1B. What this simply means is that by default, if you do not mention any region tag while creating anything on the Google Cloud, this is the region that's going to choose automatically. This is the geographical region that's going to choose. That's what it's doing by default. And then we have to create a GKE cluster. GKE is like Google Kubernetes Engine, which is a fully managed service by Google. And in simple words, is like a Kubernetes cluster fully managed and provided to you by Google. That's it. So we can do this with this command, which is like create container cluster and create. This is the machine type, the zone, and the name of the cluster. So this is container cluster create and the machine type, the zone, and the name of the cluster. Frankly, I prefer the CLI way because it's easier to just type and run the command instead of clicking again and again and choosing the options and making it way more confusing. So if you are really living on terminals, this is the best thing. It's going to take a few minutes to get up and running. By that time, we can just see what we have to do next. We have to get authentication credentials for the cluster. Okay, cool. Get credentials, lab cluster. I mean, everything is pretty much done for you. All you have to do is just see how the things are working and make sure to remember that, yeah, that's how you're going to get your credentials and that's how you're going to create your cloud instance. Also, if you want to see, we can just check it here. The clusters. Like it's still in the status of creating. We have 3 nodes by default. Out of curiosity, how many of you have ever worked or know a little bit about Kubernetes or Docker in general? Because my expertise and my fascination is towards Kubernetes. I mean, because it's a really nice technology. If you have ever heard about it and know what it is. That's good. So you Dockerize your application or how you use that? That's really cool, Isha. I guess you're kind of interested more in the cloud. This is your time to learn, and this is for everyone to learn, basically. Cluster takes a bit more time. Instances to get created. Okay, cool. Or longer. But I mean, if you have any other question in the meantime, I'm here to answer about the program, about the Google Cloud, or whatever. Any questions? Finally, it's done. The nodes and the version that we're using for the Kubernetes, which is the kubectl, and the master. Basically, this is the place where we can SSH directly, and we can check the progress. Perfect, it's done. Next, we want to get the like container credentials. So just do this. This is everything is getting generated, and now the kubectl is ready for us to what this is doing is like it is fetching all the resources that is there in the Kubernetes, and successfully like the kubectl is configured to access to the cluster that we just created here. So now what we want to do is to want to just deploy an application. Deployment is a type of object in Kubernetes. So I'm not Kubernetes for now, but just assume it as a container as a simple application, and this is the application that we're gonna run. So just copy this thing. So it's gonna create the deployment with the name of hello server, and this is the image. This is the Docker image that's gonna use. So we can just do this, and it says that it's created, but we can just see more. kubectl.
Your screen is stuck and it's not visible right now.
Also, just to add on, if you want to get anytime help about Kubernetes or kubectl, just go to kubernetes.io and docs. The documentation and search here what you want to do. So if you want to know more about this is the deployments in the Kubernetes. So what it is and how you can do this. Everything you want to learn more about the Kubernetes, this can be found on kubernetes.io/docs. Okay, it says that it's here. You can just run get all again to see if everything is running. You can see this is the pod that is running, and this the deployment is running as well. Perfect. Now we can see the progress. And good. So the Kubernetes has its own internal network configurations, and anyone from outside world cannot access it unless we expose it. So we need to expose that application to outside world thing. Oops, isn't it visible? This just my bad. The screen is not visible. Really sorry for that. I'm gonna repeat everything for you. No worries. Just let me know when did you get the thing, and I can repeat that. Did you all see the cluster is running? Oh, just let me know from where do I need to repeat, because I really have no idea since when it's not running. So basically, what I did was like I can repeat you this part. We are waiting for the cluster to get run, and this is finally it gets running. You can see the status is running. We can also see that from the UI part it's running. And then all we did was just get this credentials to the kubectl config. So if we go here, we go to the get authentication credential for the cluster. If we run this command, all it's going to do is it's going to configure the kubectl, which is the Kubernetes command line to configure all the cluster to use this cluster that we just created. We run that, and it said that it configured everything for us, and we checked that it's running with the help of kubectl get all command. That yeah, it's running. So next, I just let you know that you can learn more about Kubernetes and everything on here, which is deployments page, like kubernetes.io/talks. And this is the place where you can learn basically anything about Kubernetes. So we want to create the application, and deployment is a Kubernetes object to just like serve the application. You can imagine it as a container, or even just like you can say isolated place where you can run your application. So this is the deployment that we just created. You can see that we just created a deployment name hello server with this image. This is the Docker image that we're using. And it says that it created and we checked everything that yeah, it's running. So we can just say kubectl all again. So yeah, everything is running. The pod is running, the deployment is running, and the replica set is running. Perfect. We have checked that thing from here. We checked and it says that it's running perfect. And the next is that so the Kubernetes has its own network configuration, like its own secure network internally, and even from outside the world cannot. And to expose that, we have to literally expose that application to outside world, and we do that with the help of this command. So what it's doing is it's exposing the service with the name of exposing the deployment with the name of hello server, and the type is load balancer, and the port is 8080. So the type are like we have different types, which is node port and load balancer. But again, this is a part of Kubernetes, and we're not discussing Kubernetes in depth. So I mean, assume it as just a way to expose our application to the outside world, and we're exposing it at port 8080. I hope it's visible now. Any problem with the visibility or anything? I'm audible. Yep, cool. Okay, so we saw that we just created it and just run it again. By the way, if you repeat that same thing, it's gonna throw you an error that the services already exist. So I mean, it just can be created once, and until you delete this, it's gonna be the same. So if we go there and get all, we can see that there's new service which is hello server, and this is the external IP address. And if we go to this IP address, the port 8080, this should work, yes. So, yep, the application is running fine. So you can see that this is the Hello World application, and this is the host name with our application. And it's running at port 8080. So congratulations, we have just deployed an application in Kubernetes cluster and exposed it with the help of the load balancer service. And we can check the progress. Done. So yeah, that's it. And at the end, of course, we want to clean the thing up, so we can just delete this with the help of gcloud CLI. Just delete the cluster. Yes, we want to delete this thing. See, it's just getting deleted. The cluster is getting deleted. It's again going to take some time, but for sure not that much that it takes to create. Also, by the time it's completed, I can just let you know more about the Kubernetes if you are interested, because I'm more into Kubernetes. So if you want to try anything about Kubernetes, you need a Kubernetes cluster. So either you can get it on cloud, but there's a small quick way to get it installed on your system, and that is called If you go here, just follow along with the docs, installation, and everything, and then the Minikube will be there. So open up your terminal and just search for Minikube. Currently, it's getting stopped. This creates a kind of Kubernetes cluster in your own computer, and it's free, so you can start learning Kubernetes anytime you want. You can just do the start, and it's gonna create the whole cluster for you. It's still waiting. I'm really sorry, Gayatri, you're not able to understand anything. There's no prerequisite. It's more about what you do and how you learn those things. I mean, no one actually knows about Kubernetes, and there's technically no prerequisite for it. But if you want to, then we need to learn a bit about Docker. That's about the Kubernetes part. And if you talk about the first lab, which was creating an instance, it's basically just using the web UI part to in with specified like CPU, RAM, and sources that you want to. And if you really want to get into cloud and DevOps, I would really say that get a bit about Linux, because Linux is something that important. And if you are familiar with the Linux and terminal, it's going to be easier for you to do all of those things. That's it. I mean, and if you want to know something from me that specifically that you didn't understand, I can help you with that. Thanks, Aniket, for the rice. It's not even a rice; it's just a bit of customization. So, any the Kubernetes, the cloud, the Google Cloud, or anything like that. It's still taking time to get deleted. No questions. Is it too much for you, or is it too boring for you? How is it? Okay, cool. No, it's not for certainly. It's not off topic. So the Kubernetes was actually created to orchestrate the containers, and like if you skip all these fancy words, the simple thing is that when you run a Docker and you run Docker images, you know how hard it is to manage Docker. I mean, imagine you have an application which like a fully functional website with front end, back end, and the database, them separatedly in their containers. You have to run that manually. You have to expose that manually to the world. If you're using the concept of volume, which is like persistent storage, you have to do it everything manually, which is trust me, it's not even possible. I mean, creating everything by hand by running Docker run things like that, it's not possible on a large. And to help that, Google actually itself created the Kubernetes, which helps you automate all of those things with the help of just writing a simple config file. And you just give them a YAML config file of what images you want and how you want it to be, on what ports you want it to be exposed, the volumes and things like that. And it's going to do all of that for you. And on top of it, it's going to check all of your health. So for example, for some reason your container dies, if you're doing it manually, you have to literally check all of your containers are running well, If it's not running, you have to rerun them. But Kubernetes, on the other hand, if it's dead, it's gonna run it automatically until you manage to stop that. So that is what orchestration means. It means organizing all of your containers in a well-managed and automatic manner, reducing your errors as an operator or thing. So that's why the Kubernetes is actually created. I hope. Perfect. Cool. Aditya, to learn more about Kubernetes, I would say there are some good free resources available on YouTube as well. Which you can just refer to. First, start with Docker a bit, and then go into Kubernetes. I got to know it more about when I was doing application in Kubernetes, but I mean certainly you can just go to YouTube and look for it if you just want to get the basics. If you really want to get into it, I mean there are some Udemy courses also available which you can just refer to and learn more about Kubernetes. But as I told you, if you just want to experiment the things, you don't even need a Kubernetes cluster. You can just go to this mini cube. Oh, by the way, this is done. Perfect. So I'll just continue on that. You can just check my progress. And we have to see the time as well. So we have to finish the lab before the time ends. We are fortunate enough to do it 3 minutes left. And we are 100 and 100. So good. We can just end the lab. And perfect. So we see that we have 3 labs completed. Now these 3 are onto you because already we have skipped the 1 hour time limit. So I mean it's onto you. And if you face any other doubt, anything, any query about this, just let me know on Discord. Harsh, we can just finish the quest. That's the major thing. And if you want to give like the course is optional, but for the first you have to complete the quest. We'll be sending you all the links for the particular quest that you essentially need to complete to get the third like this complete this challenge. But for now, this is the quest which I also send the link to. I'll just put it up. Perfect. Just give me. Um, okay, yeah. So Aditya, continuing on your part of learning Kubernetes, yeah, you can refer to those courses, and you can always go to this mini cube thing and explore and create services. Documentation is enough if you are like good enough to read documentation. I prefer more of the video content than the documentation, but if you really, I would say if you really want to start, just get through some other textbooks and things rather than going directly into documentation because there are a lot of terms, the fascinating terms that you won't understand, and then you end up being like, what the heck is it? So, yeah, cool. Uh, Prabhat, there is no certification, so to speak, about this. And you're just getting your badges, the digital badges. The certifications are not sure, but even if you get it, it's just a certification of participation. But we have no commitment on that, so we cannot guarantee. And there's no certification examination, something like that. It's just that you learn more of the quest and you get to learn the cloud and maybe some freebies and goodies as well. Well, again, no commitment, but the good chances that you're gonna get some good goodies. So yeah, because we cannot
But
commit
all
until
these
we
things,
get the commitment from the Google itself. So
like you
cool.
can avail all these things when
Um,
you have
yeah,
finished the part.
that's all from my side. I told you about the Google Cloud and in general what you have to do in these labs. I told you a bit about the Minikube thing. This is the how the Minikube looks like, and we can just do the kubectl get on. This is basically equivalent to what we have did in the Google Cloud. We have created the Kubernetes cluster, but here it's going to create the cluster on the local machine itself with the help of this Minikube thing. And see, I have some running like containers and pods and services. So this is how the kubectl works. I mean, you can refer to docs about installing these and playing around with it And if you're more into Kubernetes, just let me know. I'll happy to help you out. Yeah, I mean, of course, you have to complete everything, then only you will be able to get those things. Okay, any other question about anything? If there's nothing, then we can wrap up the session, and I hope it's a bit of informative to you, and your 1 hour was worth about it. So that's my hope. And uh, firstly, this is the link that I told to you. This is Kirbo's quest. Next, will send you a mail with all the links and all the link of the quest that you have to do. I mean, that would be an easier way for you to access and for us to send you the information. But for now, to get started, just finish with all these 6 labs in this quest. I mean, in this weekend or something. We'll send it to you pretty soon. Cool. Thanks, Ishar. Anything else, anyone? I mean, that's all from my side. So if everything is good, then we can wrap up the session. Bye bye. Bhumika, you have to add something.
No, that's it. Like, it's all good. Like, it was an awesome session, and the video will be available. Recording
Yes,
of the
Yishi,
session
you
will
can
be
certainly
available
do
for
that
you
in
guys.
incognito mode. All you have to make sure is that you have the same email ID from where you're doing. I mean, where you get the subscription. That's it.
Uh,
Thanks,
am I
Aditya.
audible to you guys? Okay, okay. So, like, I'm
Yes,
audible to
I
you
really
guys.
cannot hear Bhumika just for some reason.
Okay. So, like, I'll be sharing the recording of the session soon, and the task for this week will be sent to the group, like the dedicated group for GCCP. Like, if you like want to get the certificates and what the swags all you are there for you. You have to complete the whole quest that are being asked to you guys to be done. Then only you'll be getting the swags and the prizes. So, and if you have any doubts, Granch is in the group as well. You can ask him, and there are other people as well who can guide you through it. So just ask it itself in the group. I'll be changing the settings. So if there isn't anything else, then we'll be wrapping up the session.
Finally, I got your voice. There was some issue on my side, I guess.
Yeah. So like, if there's any doubts, like you can ask Granch. He is in the group and on Discord as well. He'll be available to you guys.
Yeah.
That that's
That's really
great.
cool, Harsh. We'll be sending you the next links pretty soon, and just keep up this Josh, and we have to complete it all together. So yeah. Also, just to mention in Discord, whenever you wanna ask any question to me, just make sure you tag me over there because sometimes I miss the messages. So it's better if you tag me and ask the question.
Same goes for the group. Like, I'll be allowing you guys to send the messages, but please don't spam on the group so that everybody can get to know what's happening
Yeah.
for the program. If you have some specific doubts, ask on Discord or just message us. We'll consider your doubts and we'll be there for you. Just don't spam.
Yeah, certainly. Okay. So I hope you got something for the session, and see you in the later session for sure.
Thank you so much for joining, and we'll see you soon for the next session with more quests and more information from grants.
Yeah.
So we'll see you all soon.
Thank you. Bye bye.